Redefining Selfish, an essential step on the journey of self-actualization. Why we fear being selfish. One of the most common limiting beliefs I run into with clients is the idea that selfish equals bad. I hear this in the way they talk. I want to do X, but I don't want to be selfish. Do you think X is selfish? This is really selfish, I know, but I really want X. I recognize this pattern in my clients because I first had to recognize it in myself. Years ago, I discovered that this negative connotation around the word selfish was deeply limiting my ability to experience authentic self-love, self-care, and self-trust. When we grow up in environments where being selfish is shamed, punished, or used as a weaponized label, we internalize a dangerous equation. Selfish equals bad, bad equals rejected, rejected equals unsafe. So naturally, our nervous systems try to protect us by rejecting anything that might look selfish, even if that thing is as simple and essential as rest, saying no, or expressing a need. What happens then? Parts of the self end up rejected. Desire, preference, instinct, boundaries. These sacred inner signals get mislabeled as threats and shoved into the shadows. What healthy selfishness really means. To be clear, there is an extreme of selfishness that becomes self-absorbed, disconnected from impact, or even exploitive. That's not the kind of selfishness I'm talking about here. That's not the kind of selfishness most of my clients or myself have ever needed help accessing. What we need is a reclamation, a healthy, nuanced, life-affirming definition of selfishness. Selfishness as the ability to honor one's needs, desires, and experience without collapsing into guilt. This is one of those put on your own oxygen mask first truths. You cannot be a stable, generous, loving presence for anyone if you are in chronic neglect of your own system. You cannot be creative when you're resentful. You cannot give when you feel depleted. You cannot love while erasing yourself. We are slowly waking up, individually and collectively, to the reality that prioritizing the self is not a rejection of others. It is, in fact, what makes authentic, sustainable relationship possible. Flashback to February 28th, 2023, this article on selfishness and selflessness. Selfishness and selflessness don't need to compete. When in harmony, they work in tandem and feed off of each other. They become stronger for each other's strength. You can visit that article in the link in this article. Enlightened self-interest, the middle way. One way to reclaim the idea of selfish is to shift into a mindset of enlightened self-interest. This is the understanding that what's good for you can be good for the collective when approached with awareness and integrity. It's not about sacrificing your experience for others, nor is it about dominating or manipulating for gain. It's about being so deeply aligned with your own well-being that your choices naturally benefit those around you. When you're well-rested, resourced, and inspired, you become more generous, more magnetic, more useful. You contribute not from guilt or depletion, but from overflow. That's enlightened self-interest in action. The cultural reframe. In a world that's still unlearning codependence and reimagining what it means to be both sovereign and connected, selfishness has to be redefined. Not as a sin, but as a skill. Not as an insult, but as a signal. Not as something to avoid, but as something to understand, shape, and wield with love. This shift is not optional on the path to self-actualization. It's essential, because becoming your fullest, most vibrant, most alive self will require choices that look selfish from the outside, especially to those who benefited from your self-abandonment. Guilt around joy, success, or abundance. One of the most common symptoms of limiting beliefs is guilt for feeling good. So many of us carry an unconscious belief that if we're happy, wealthy, or thriving, we must be taking too much. What will people think if I'm this happy? Am I allowed to want even more? Is it wrong that I'm doing better than the people I love? These thoughts aren't truth. They're trauma, inherited guilt, cultural scarcity, social conditioning. They are not your soul speaking. Learning to receive without guilt is a skill. Learning to feel joy without explaining it, to shine without apology, and to expand without minimizing. All of that is part of the deeper healing of our relationship with selfishness. You are allowed to want a beautiful life. You are allowed to receive good things. And your thriving does not take away from anyone else's. It shows what's possible. Uncovering Genuine Desire, another previously published article from March of 2023. Excerpt, I'm in the process of shedding a deep, I can, so I should layer. This layer feels particularly strong in relationship with concepts of work, service, other people, healing, and teaching. If you want to discover more about my experience, learning how to be motivated from desire, genuine desire, you can access this article, this old article, through the link in the current article. Practices to redefine selfish in your own life. Try one or more of these to start shifting your relationship with the word. 1. Selfishness Reframe Journal. Write the word selfish at the top of a page. Beneath it, free write. What did this word mean in your childhood? In your relationships? In your spiritual community? Then, define what you want it to mean now. 2. Guilt check-in. The next time guilt surfaces after a self-honoring decision, ask, is this guilt a sign that I did something wrong, or a sign that I'm doing something new? Practice sitting with the discomfort of expansion without rushing to fix it. Number 3, the self-honoring pause. When asked to do something, practice pausing to feel your actual yes or no before answering. No justification required. Just let me feel into that is enough. 4, mirror affirmations. Speak to yourself clearly and aloud. It is not selfish to honor my experience. The more I meet my needs, the more I have to give. Self-honoring is sacred. 5, talk about it. Speak to a trusted friend or coach about your evolving view of selfishness. Naming it aloud reduces its charge and builds new neural pathways of permission. Final thoughts. The next time you feel the tug of war inside about whether something is selfish, pause and ask, is this actually harmful? Or is it simply unfamiliar because I'm choosing myself? That one question can change everything. And that one moment of choosing yourself, that's the real beginning of everything else.